Hi, and welcome to Home Buying Made Simple. I'm Lisa Williams with Williams and Associates Realty, and today we're going to talk about the home warranty program and products that they have. I'm meeting with Michelle Glen. She's the marketing manager with HSA Home Warranty program.
Yes, hi.
Okay, good. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for joining me. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what is a home warranty?
Sure. So I'm a market manager with American Home Shield and HSA Home Warranty, and I forge a relationship and partnership with real estate agents such as yourself, and I work to educate the homeowner on the benefits of the home warranty and how it can help a seller during the listing period and how it can help a buyer protect their budget after closing. And so I work directly with the real estate agent on how to do that. And I live here in, I live in New Berlin, and I have been in the real estate industry since 2005 and have been a market manager with American Home Shield and HSA for 14 years.
Okay, great. And I know sometimes people think, well, if I have homeowners insurance, do I also need a home warranty? And we know that there's a difference between the two. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. So home warranty is a plan where we promise that we will repair or replace a failed covered item that fails due to normal wear and tear, just age. It just breaks down. Or if you have a particular plan, because we have several plans, if something failed due to improper installation or improper repair, we can cover that as well. And so it's going to be the mechanicals of the home. So what's inside your home, like your plumbing system, electrical system, appliances, cooling and heating, and roof leaks. Homeowners insurance is going to cover your home, what happens to the home on basically the outside, or perhaps there's a storm and now your basement is flooded. If you lost your items, maybe you have flood coverage. We're not going to help with that, but the homeowner's insurance is not going to help with a failed furnace. So for example, a failed furnace, you file a home warranty claim. A storm damage where part of your roof is ripped off, that's homeowner's insurance.
Okay. And what are some common repairs that you might see with a home warranty plan?
Repairs common are going to be drain line stoppages where there's just gunk buildup and such, and somebody has waste coming up through their drain in the basement, or maybe their toilet is stopped up. We don't just cover toilet stoppages. We're not going to come out and with a plunger and do that, right? But it's something deeper where your sewer line is clogged, just to use. That's a big one. Pipe leaks is a big one. Electrical claims, that's going to be like your light switch isn't working, your electrical panel is blown fuses, and it just keeps blowing fuses, and there's obviously a bigger problem. Your dishwasher is leaking, or your dishwasher is not releasing the water, so there's stopped up water. Furnace failures, like your blower motor has stopped and it's causing a really big, loud, vibrating noise, and it's not blowing out air. That's a good repair. Or a lack of Freon or refrigerant in your AC. So those are the top claims for repairs. Yeah.
Okay. And how does the coverage begin for a home buyer?
So usually the homeowner can ask for the home warranty either in the offer, but depending on the market, sometimes that might be discouraged. Sometimes the buyer doesn't want to ask the seller to pay for that. They could pay for it themselves if they want to. Parents often pay for the warranty for their first-time home buyer children. Sometimes parents or agents pay for it for their client, but basically we just need to get it enrolled, and that's through our call center or through me, or we have an agent portal. And then starting on the closing date or after, depending on when we enroll it, and the coverage starts for a whole year for a buyer.
Okay. And how does the claim process, how does that work?
So, what the homeowner does is they file a claim through the agent portal, or they call American Home Shield and HSA directly. And we ask the questions like what's failing, where is it located, and they ask specific questions. And then we send a dispatch / assignment to one of our vendors.
Okay.
And we use preferred vendors who are vetted and background checked, credit checked, and have to follow our specific guidelines and processes. And we'll assign them. The homeowner then gets a phone call within 1 to 2 business days from that vendor to set an appointment. The vendor goes to the home, gets a diagnostic of the failed item, and then that vendor reports that diagnostic info to American Home Shield and HSA, and we have several ways they can do that. And then we review the coverage and determine, or review the diagnostic info and then review for coverage. And then a phone call or an email will go out to the homeowner to say, yes, this is approved with certain limitations, no, it was not approved, and here's why, and so on.
Okay. So are there any limitations or exclusions what the home warranty won't cover?
Yes, so that's a very good question, because a lot of people think that everything is covered at no end, right? That's just a recipe for disaster, because a lot of people have those expectations. Is, again, we have multiple contracts. So let me just take American Home Shield. There are limitations. Basically, again, we're going to cover those mechanical items. With American Home Shield plan, for example, somebody's refrigerator. We're going to cover the control board, the motherboard, what makes a refrigerator a refrigerator. If an ice maker fails, we'll cover that. The handles, even on a microwave, if somebody's glass broke or the lining of the microwave, I've never had that happen myself, but some linings will literally just disintegrate and sag. For American Home Shield plan, those kind of items are covered. Limitations, for example, the only limitations that I'll give you 2 top limitations for American Home Shield is that our limit for a heating system is $15,000 for the whole year. If somebody has 2 furnaces, that's $30,000 worth of coverage. And then we'll give $15,000 per AC system. Again, 2 ACs, $30,000. If someone has a boiler system or geothermal or water source heat pump, those are limited to $2,000. But 15 grand is the highest coverage in this area. Nobody that I compete with has coverage like that. Typically, they're much lower than that. And another limitation that we have is, but is very high, in some of our American Home Shield plans, appliance coverage is limited to $4,000 per unit, or in the Shield Complete plan, it goes up to $7,000.
Okay. Now, when you mention appliances, I'm thinking too, like if the seller or you have an investor who has just renovated a property and they included a microwave, a dishwasher, a stove, a refrigerator. Now, because those are appliances, would those be included? Another thing that comes to mind, which people I don't really see as many now, would be garbage disposals. So are those things that are also covered under the home warranty plan?
Yep, those are, the appliances are under the appliance category. It doesn't matter whether they were included with the house. If the house was sold without appliances and you bring in your own appliance, we will cover those. There is a manufacturer warranty, you know, part of that we could get into if you want to. Yes, garbage disposals are covered under the plumbing category.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so why do you feel that a buyer should consider getting a home warranty plan?
So there's so many reasons, but it's vital for a homeowner who doesn't have the recommended amount of money saved. A lot of buyers are stressed financially, after they purchase a home. You know, they want their new furniture and they want to do this particular renovation that costs a lot of money, and there's surprises that happen. And so having a home warranty is a way to manage those surprises and take the bite out of that. And so it's going to help protect the budget of the homeowner. And the warranty is perfect for those people who have not saved. And there's a lot that comes up. Myself as a homeowner, some things happened in the last 5 months that have cost me a lot of money, nothing that the warranty would cover. But all of a sudden it just dumped on me after 9 years of homeownership. And could I have prepared for that a little bit better? Probably, but there are some things that I just didn't even realize were gonna happen, right? So if the homeowner doesn't have savings, it's definitely a good idea to have the home warranty as their plan. If you don't have a financial plan to help overcome those surprise expenses as a homeowner, then the warranty can be their plan.
Right. And I always look at it too as having that peace of mind. You know that that is there, and sometimes, and I think I had mentioned to you that you have it, something breaks down, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I have a warranty, I can call them. Because again, things happen that you may not really expect it to. Can a home warranty help a buyer feel more confident about purchasing the home?
Yes, because even if you have a home inspection is just a snapshot that day. And even in the home inspection record, it does say, the home inspector is like a general physician. They're not a specialist, right?
Correct.
So they even say in the report is like, I didn't look at X, Y, and Z. I recommend you get a specialist to look at this if you have concerns. And so just because a home is well maintained does not mean that something is not going to fail. For example, 40% of all refrigerators fail within the first 5 years. They need some sort of servicing. And that number is actually from Samsung Technology. And 33% of our water heater claims are on units that are 5 years and under. So it's best to be prepared, even though the home that you're purchasing or they're purchasing is in good working order and the homeowner, the seller took great care of it. Mechanical items break down.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's usage too, because if the previous owner, it was just 2 people and now there's 4 or 5 people, that usage is, is different.
Yes.
So again, it's like, like I said, like having that peace of mind, knowing that you do have that coverage if in the event that something does break down.
Absolutely.
And what example or situation can you think of with regards to the home warranty that saved a homeowner thousands of dollars?
I just did a paid claims report the other day where it's a notification to the real estate agent who enrolled the warranty that we've paid a claim. And one went out for $2,245 for an AC system for one of an agent who writes a lot of warranties with us. And I sent it to him and he responded back going, no way, we had no idea that the AC was gonna go. I'm so thankful that he had that warranty. The story is usually the same. First time homeowners, wife is pregnant, maybe a new job. I mean, these people are under financial stress a lot of times, even though they just purchased a home and they have a lot going on and maybe something else has happened that's not warranty related. Things happen. And so I hear the story time and time again of how it just really saved that family a lot of money. There's umpteen stories like that.
Right. And sometimes too, especially, seasonal or season-wise, is that you brought your property back in February, March. You're not using the AC at that time. The home inspector can't test it because of the temperature being below 60 degrees. So it might be something advantageous to ask for that warranty. So when summer hits and now you're just now using it, what happens if?
Yeah.
You know, so again, it's having that protection, you know, knowing that, that that you're covered.
Right. And something, if you don't mind if I ask or add on to that, is although we include coverage due to undetectable pre-existing conditions, the homeowner will always, the potential buyers always want to do their due diligence, even though it can't be tested. Ask for service records. When was the last time the AC was tuned up? Look at it visually and make sure the hoses are connected. Is there corrosion on the fins? I mean, like, take pictures if just protect yourself, because although we have that protection and coverage written into our contract, it doesn't mean that it's 100% guarantee. There are certain times where there's visible notice. There's visible things that could be noticed that would eliminate that item from being covered until, if that happened right away after closing, or in the heating season. So just be careful with that.
Okay. And how can offering a home warranty help a seller sell their home in this type of market?
Right. So how that works is that the seller says, hey, I want to include the home warranty with the purchase of my home. I want the buyer to feel peace of mind. I want to feel peace of mind afterwards. So what you would do as an agent, you enroll them for listing coverage. And for American Home Shield, we give the seller $1,500 worth of coverage during the listing period up to 12 months, and the cost is only $70. And they get their coverage for plumbing, electrical, cooling, and heating failures during the listing period. And then what that does is it protects their budget, because sellers also have a lot on their plate. They're purchasing a new home, right? And they have a lot of expenditures. So it protects their budget. And then it also attracts buyers to that new home, because buyers, peace of mind. They like peace of mind. So again, even if that home is maintained well, it gives that buyer that peace of mind and security that if something goes wrong after closing and it's they can file that claim with the home warranty company. And then lastly, there's two more things, if you don't mind. There was a study done, and it was a few years ago, but there was a study done where homes that actually had the warranty on it during the listing sold for $5,280 more than a home that didn't have the home warranty, and 11 days faster. And 80% of all buyers want to purchase a home with a home warranty. So it just makes sense. They're gonna ask for it in a lot of cases, right? Depending on where they are in the market. You might as well take advantage of that coverage during the listing period. Okay.
And does a home warranty help reduce the concerns during negotiations? And you kind of touched on that a little bit, but can you expand on that?
Right. So there's a lot of scenarios with that. Say the seller has the seller's coverage on it, and the inspection report comes back and the heating element on the water heater is failed. There's corrosion and a leak on the pipe stack. We get a lot of pipe leaks on inspection reports, or maybe there's a failed outlet or a failed fuse in the breaker box or in the electrical panel. Those are things that the seller can file a claim for, so that can help. Maybe their water heater starts leaking, or the inspector noticed it was leaking and it wasn't 2 weeks ago. Water heater can be $1,500 to replace, or even more depending on the type. So again, that can help move that transaction towards closing as opposed to derailing it because of a large expense. So we can help with that. Another example is if, say, the seller has maintained their mechanical systems, but they're old. The furnace is 25 years old, but gets tuned up every year. The AC is 50 years old, like mine personally, right? But it's tuned up and it was fine. The buyer could walk in and say, I want you to replace these. And the seller's like, but I have all these service records, they're working fine, I'm not going to replace them. sometimes that can come to blows, and then the buyer walks away because they're like, I'm not purchasing a home that has older mechanicals. But that's when you put the warranty on and say, hey, we're not going to replace them, but we can give you a 1 or 2 year warranty, that if something does happen in the next 1 to 2 years, depending on what plan they get, or if they purchase the 2 year, you're going to be covered for these items. Let's continue moving through closing. So it can help save a lot of deals when something comes through on the inspection.
Okay. And one thing that you kind of mentioned a couple of times is the home inspection. So if I'm a new homeowner, I just closed on my home, does HSA, do they ask for the home inspection report? Do they get a copy of that?
No.
No.
The only time we're going to ask for a home inspection report is somebody, in this kind of climate, you have a lot of people who don't do home inspections. I would not recommend that, right? We don't like that on our side, right? But people are doing it because they are in love with the house. They just want the house and they're just going to forego. Would not recommend that, but that's, so if that happens and then they file a claim, usually within the first 30 days after closing, because this is happening so often, they will file of not getting home inspections and people knowing that things are already broken, they go and file a claim. Let's just throw the warranty at it and they'll pay for it, right? So within the first 30 days, if a claim is filed, and then if we deny it due to pre-existing conditions based on what our vendor says, because a lot of times there's evidence that there was pre-existing, if I'm aware of it, if you reach out to me and let me know, or customer service will do it as well. But if your clients work with me, I can do it faster. And we'll ask for the home inspection report or service records. That's why I asked about service records, right? And then we'll have American Home Shield or HSA review it and see if it was a clean inspection report on that particular item, we will overturn it. That happened twice in the last month with some clients. Somebody filed a claim within 3 days of closing for a failed refrigerator and freezer. And they thankfully had an inspection report and we were able to overturn it. And they're in replacement options right now, so we couldn't repair it, so it's being replaced. So it just really depends, but those inspection reports are really important, especially if they are filing a claim right after closing. Okay,
great. So can you tell us, a couple questions here I want to ask with regards to myth or fact. So home warranty, does it cover everything? Is that a myth or is that a fact?
It's a myth that the home warranty covers everything, right? I said before that the American Home Shield will cover all the components of a refrigerator, dishwasher, that type of thing. It says all components, but we have limitations on it in terms of how much we will spend. I get so many questions about if we cover windows. I don't know why, but people think we cover windows. People think we cover mold, pests. I have bats in the attic. Can you come and, get the bats out of my attic? And I'm like, I think you've called the wrong company, right? So yeah, there are things that we don't cover in the home, and that's going to be anything that's not mechanical.
Okay, so again, myth or fact, home warranties are only for older homes.
That is a myth. There is not a home out there that's just a straight up residential property that we can't help. We can't cover mixed use or commercial. So there are some legitimate issues for not being able to cover something. But if it's a residentially zoned property, it's always a good candidate from a new home, because some builders, here in Wisconsin, the builder's required to do a 1 year warranty at the bare minimum, and a lot of builders do more than that. But if you have a builder that only does 1 year, we have a new construction product where we cover years 2, 3, 4, and 5 in some of the plans. That way, if something does fail, they can have that coverage, right? And it starts on year 2. Older homes are perfect for it. Renovated homes are perfect for it. Investment homes are perfect for it, because an investor, unless it's the property really needs it, most investors are going to do a renovation here, a renovation there, right? But they're not going to do every single thing in that house. They're not going to replace the wiring. They're not going to replace the plumbing system. They usually do a lot of the visual things, new kitchen and type thing. So there are still mechanical systems within the home in a flipped home that could potentially fail. So that's what that plan is for, to help with those failures.
Okay.
Yeah.
And myth or fact, new homeowners rarely use the home warranty plan.
That's a myth for some, but 25% of our home buyers actually use their warranty in the first 60 days. That could be a rekey service. That could be maybe we're in the tune-up window where we offer AC tune-ups at a special price or furnace tune-ups, or it could be a claim within the first 60 days. So we have value-added things built into the plan as well. So maybe something didn't go wrong, but they wanted their keys, their locks rekeyed. So there are some people who go 10 months without filing a claim, nothing went wrong, and the last 2 months now they have a bunch of claims. So it is used heavily. But we also have people who like it so much that even though the seller paid for it or mom and dad paid for it in year one, they renew on their own. So we have people that have been with us 20 years or more. So.
Okay. And then what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people might have regarding a home warranty?
Yeah, so this is a big one. There's so many. That's why I have a job. I think the biggest misconception is that the home warranty is going to pay for everything. Everything in their house is covered, and every cost associated is going to be covered. In fact, I had a phone call this morning. Somebody called me and was upset that their seller, who we are replacing their water heater, while it's on the market, had a $275 non-covered cost. And she was very upset about it, and I explained, well, you know, in this particular plan that they have, because we have several, we don't cover electrical modifications or gas line modifications. We're covering X, Y, and Z, but please remember that there are certain things that we're not going to cover, and those are the responsibility of the homeowner.
Okay.
So without that warranty, would they be paying $1,000 without us? Probably, right? So not everything is going to be covered. There are certain situations where everything is covered. For example, I've had so many claims at my own house. My dishwasher leaked 30 days after I move in, and I paid my service fee associated with the contract, and the vendor came out, realized that it was leaking, there was something wrong with the pump. So they ordered the pump and installed it. I didn't pay any more than that. Okay. I've had several appliances replaced. I don't have any out-of-pocket costs with that. There can be situations where somebody gets a brand new refrigerator and they got a new refrigerator from us with an ice maker, but they don't have a water line installed. That kind of expense is not going to be covered by the warranty. That's something that you have to call your own vendor and pay for, and then we'll install the refrigerator. So every claim is different, but I think making sure that you have the right expectation is that read your contract, understand it, ask questions before you file the claim, because after you file the claim and you're probably in distress because your AC just went out, and then we call and say, hey, there's some extra costs associated that we need you to know to move forward, you'll have to accept those. People don't like that and they get very upset. And so I think making sure that they have the right expectation ahead of time before they get into that situation.
Okay. So when an individual, either through negotiating with the seller, with an offer to purchase, or a seller, how do they go about getting a home warranty plan?
So if they're in a real estate transaction, you go through a real estate agent, right? So you would be the one that would work with me and I get it enrolled. We also have an agent portal that you would go through to enroll, or we have our concierge line. If it's somebody who doesn't is not included, or I'm sorry, involved in a real estate transaction right now, but they want the benefit of the home warranty. We do have consumer plans that are often on sale. You see our commercials on TV all over the place, and they can just call American Home Shield directly. They can also contact me, so if you refer somebody to me, or if you see this and you want maybe some higher coverage that the real estate plans offer, because the consumer plans have lower coverage, then as long as you come through me, I can help with the real estate plan, even if they're not involved in a transaction. It's just something that I like to do if they come through a realtor partner like you.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for joining me and providing this information with regards to a home warranty plan. So if you're interested in additional information, again, get in contact with me, or can they get in contact with you or go online to get additional information regarding the home warranty plan?
If they go online, it's ahs.com. Those are going to be your consumer plans only.
Okay.
But if you want to talk to me about higher coverage with the real estate plan, you would go through me, and I don't know if you want me to provide
please.
So my phone number is 262-238-3290.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing this information. And then if you do have additional questions or comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. I'm Lisa Williams, and this is Home Buying Made Simple.